Howdy this week. I'm Tracy Breed. I'm coming right at you with some more video topics for those of you who feel alone, even more specifically for the only child, or even more so the only child adult orphan. As you've been seeing in this video series on my YouTube channel with all the other videos there, I've been trying to come out with a topic about once a week or every other week about managing the aloneness we feel. There are many topics that are circulated around this, and aloneness isn't necessarily a bad or a good thing. It's just part of life, and particularly when you are an only child or an only child adult orphan, or just somebody who's experiencing aloneness, it's just part of our journey to self-mastery. So this week, the topic that I decided to talk about was dwelling on our aloneness and still being okay, and the harms and the goods on what happens to us when we dwell on our aloneness. So there's a rule of thumb in life in general that whatever we choose to focus on will grow. And the more we choose to focus on our aloneness, that feeling of the aloneness that we're trying to shrink and diminish to not feel so alone and feel more connected, that feeling will expand. Then there's the next topic of, well, how can we not have it come to our mind or dwell on it to any degree if our aloneness seems to be a natural part of our condition of being an only child, especially an only child that might be an adult orphan, or just even a certain season. It's just kind of staring you right in the face. So in your mind, you may know that the more we dwell on it, the harder it could be for us. But at the same token, not dwelling on it at all makes us become more robotic-like, being in a state of denial, not dealing with our own stuff. And honestly, a really good tell for our human existence is when we have feelings that come to us. It doesn't even have to be aloneness. It could be feelings of anything: happiness, sorrow, anger, anything. Feelings, when they come, they are chock full of information and intelligence for us to have. And they are full of tells or hints on what we are feeling, what's going on, triggers. We have covered this in previous videos. So where is that tipping point, that fine line of dwelling enough to get enough intelligence or self-awareness on our situation, valuable information that the self is telling us on what we're needing to do to manage our aloneness? And then on the other hand of, I'm dwelling too much, this is becoming counterproductive, these are the signs and symptoms I see on where that threshold and that tipping point is on, I'm dwelling too much on it. Okay, let's talk about the differences. Some of this might seem like common sense, and it is, but some of it might help you broaden self-awareness again, and you might be able to call yourself out. Yep, we all got to do it. We have to call ourselves out, because if we don't, who else is going to do it? So, in as much as we have to be our own advocate, we have to call ourselves out in order to become self-aware. And as we know, as we discussed in previous videos, the more self-aware we are on certain things, the more we could start real work, real progress. So getting back to that, on when is dwelling too much? When is it harmful? When is it good? And what do we do in that state of dwelling on that aloneness when it's just right there front and center? Okay, so we dwell because we notice. Once again, we are aware. How could we not? I would rather, me personally, Tracy, I would rather dwell and be self-aware than be in denial. So as we are dwelling, we need to make sure that we need to be aware of 3 R's, okay? ruminating, reframing, and rehearsal. Those are things that usually come up when we are dwelling. And ruminating is when we are dwelling to the point of fixating. And then when we fixate, we get frozen in our thoughts. We get into a cognitive mind loop and we get stuck. And sometimes we dwell too much and fixate too much to the point where we become frozen. We become frozen with fear, and then we don't do anything, or we hold ourselves back. And it's really our dwelling, excessive dwelling, or even sometimes obsessing if it really gets hyper-focused. And it's our fears that are controlling us, guys. When we feel things that are unpleasant, or when we label and brand things as unpleasant, and then we dwell on it too long or ruminate on it too long. Sorry, I had low battery mode. That means I gotta be very careful and quick here. Hope I don't cut out. When we dwell too long on something, we start rehearsing the pain. Did you know that when we have things occur to us in real time, that the neural linguistics, the neural mapping, the neurological mapping in our brain, it takes in real-time experiences and we record and experience pain. Well, when we go back and we play the tape in our head, and we rehearse or ruminate, dwell too long on the thing that we just recorded, if we are dwelling too long on what's painful, it's almost as if we are reliving that pain again. Our brain, our psyche is re-experiencing that. Did you know that from neurolinguistics, from a neurological standpoint, the brain can simulate painful memories to feel just as real as it is happening to you in real time with experiences. So the more that we ruminate and dwell, our brain gets to rehearse and anchor or cement down that pain that we are experiencing from those experiences. So here's that third R, we need to reframe. So when we catch ourselves in an excessive state of ruminating and rehearsing that pain, dwelling on it too long, and it's bringing us down, we need to pause, bring our attention and focus back kindly and gently to catching ourselves in that moment. And then we need to recreate an elevated option or a silver lining, so to speak, out of the painful thing that the mind perceives. And then we need to rehearse that as the new norm if we have to revisit, for whatever reason, that experience. So I tell my kids, you know, if I have a failure, a shortcoming, a traumatic event, or a defeated expectation, just something disappointing or something uncomfortable, if I have to go through the workaround on that as part of my human condition, I'm going to grab the lesson and the blessing out of it. I'm not going through that garbage or that pain for nothing, right? And so once you understand the lesson or the blessing, or the value or the good that needs to come out of some of these hard experiences of aloneness or whatever, once you grab that lesson, please start allowing yourself to release the anchor of having to go back and rehearse it and ruminate and revisit it or dwell on it too long. When we dwell on hard things so much or excessively, it is like the ocean. You feel the waves of the ocean and you rehearse and ruminate and revisit those painful feelings, and you get sucked down into the undertow of the wave in the ocean. And you don't want to get pulled down into the undertow. When we get pulled down into the undertow, that's when depression and anxiety can set in, versus, ooch, ouch, this might feel uncomfortable, but I'm treading water and I'm keeping my head above water. I'm not starting to drown. I'm not starting to sink and feeling depression or anxiety with managing these uncomfortable feelings. So that's where you want to be. You want to be strong enough where you're at least treading water, or even better. You will get better at learning how to tread the water to the point where you will start swimming. And at first it might be a doggy paddle on catching yourself, on that self-awareness of, okay, I'm ruminating. Okay, I need to take a breath and step back, get in a better headspace. I need to reframe this rumination, and I need to rehearse the new way to view it. I'm going to give you an example of how to reframe something before my iPhone dies on this video. Okay, I'm going to take an arbitrary example here. Let's say I had a friend that I really cared about. I was close to her at one point, and then she rejected me. I thought that this friendship might have been going somewhere, but nope. Apparently, I'm more excited about the friendship than she is, and she's just considering me more of a casual acquaintance, where I'm thinking, hey, maybe this is an opportunity to be a better friend or a closer friend. And so I start feeling let down. So my self-talk at that point, when I'm aware of, oh, wow, we don't see our friendship the same way, the negative self-talk might be, here we go again. It's hard enough for me as an only child, adult, orphan to make friends because I've had the rug ripped out from under me so many times. This may be true. Because it's hard for me to make friends, here goes another person where it's taking forever for me to develop a real friendship. Are there no real friendships to ever be found anymore? Here we go again. Here we go again. So although these feelings may be real and feel validated, and it sucks, and it's not always easy to make a friend, and it takes a long time to grow an old friend, maybe we need to catch ourselves in that. Instead of rehearsing the pain again of, here we go again, I'm frustrated, nobody's ever going to really want to be a good friend. We catch ourselves in that rehearsal, in that self-talk dialogue, step back, and we say to ourselves, even though that person perceives me more as a casual friend than a close friend than I would have liked, it is what it is. I will continue to remain open enough to receive better friends whenever that is going to come one day. So then it takes that situation that's a little harder, uncomfortable, and the reality of what you're realizing, that you're digging them, they're not digging you as much, it's not going to gel. It still takes the reality and doesn't downplay or water down the reality, but it gives an empowered statement to yourself of, yeah, not pleased with that, but even though I'm not pleased with that, I'm not going to let that disappointment of that scenario be in the driver's seat of my ability to still remain open to have better friends one day. Puts you in a more empowered position, and that's where you need to be. That is reframing. That is how you need to catch yourself and improve that self-talk dialogue. Why is this important? Because if you can change your thoughts, you can change your feelings. You change your thoughts, you change your feelings, you change your life. You will start attracting better things into your life. You'll start feeling better, and your spirits will lift more, and you will be more in the driver's seat, like we talked about in previous weeks, of who's driving. Is it your emotions? Is it your fears? Is it your anger? Or are you recognizing those emotions, giving them a place to air dry, and then you putting your hands back on the steering wheel and go, wow, maybe I felt like I was about to drive in the ditch, but I got it. I'm going to level out that steering wheel, and I've got it back under control again. And it might not change your situation as far as materializing a new friend or some of these things you want, but it will get you closer there and feeling more stable than, here we go again. People suck. They're taking forever to appreciate the value of who I am. Well, when we reframe and we use those empowering statements, we are allowing ourselves to appreciate the value of us saying, we're worth it. Yeah, this is happening, but I'm still worth being steady and stable and giving care to myself. And when I remain in that state, I will, through the power of attraction, attract better scenarios, better feelings, better thoughts, better opportunities, better contacts, better connections in my life. That's what I have to say for today. I hope those statements have been empowering to you. Once again, I'm Tracy Reed. I am also a life coach. These videos are meant to just help you. If you feel that these videos are not enough or you're wanting more empowerment in your life and wanting to see more results, please don't feel afraid to reach out to me at tracyreed.lifecoach@gmail.com, and I will be happy to assist you in any way possible so that you could live your best life and feel better and have the life you've wanted. So you take care, and I will see you on the next video. Bye.